The massive repair bay of Station 42 hummed with activity as Tom Davis stared at the wreckage before him. 20 years of fixing spaceships hadn't prepared him for this sight. The diplomatic vessel of the Galactic Council looked like it had been chewed up and spit out by a space whale. Its once sleek silver hull was twisted into impossible angles, and the quantum drive leaked exotic particles into the containment field. They say 6 other repair stations turned this one away, his assistant Mike said, whistling at the damage. Even the Level 1 facility at Centauri Prime wouldn't touch it. Tom walked around the ship, his old work boots clicking against the metal floor. While other repair stations had fancy anti-gravity boots and automated inspection drones, he preferred to feel the ground beneath his feet. It helped him think. What happened to her? Tom asked the tall, blue-skinned alien diplomat who stood nervously nearby. We hit an unmarked gravity well while traveling at full speed, the diplomat replied, his translator making his words sound flat and mechanical. The automated systems failed to compensate in time. 3 other repair facilities said the damage is too severe. 2 more claimed it would cost more to fix than to build a new ship. Tom nodded, running his calloused hand along a twisted beam. The metal felt wrong. Too cold, too smooth. Most aliens used self-repairing alloys these days, materials that were supposed to be impossible to break. Yet here was proof that impossible was just another word for hasn't met a human yet. The repair bay around them was a perfect example of humanity's different approach. While alien repair stations were sterile, automated facilities where robots did all the work, Station 42 looked more like an old Earth shipyard. Welding sparks flew in one corner where workers fixed a merchant vessel. The smell of machine oil and metal hung in the air. Tools of every kind imaginable lined the walls, from ancient wrenches to modern plasma cutters. The quantum core is cracked, the ship's AI announced through the diplomat's translator. Standard repair protocols indicate complete replacement is the only option. Tom pulled out his tablet and checked the ship's specs. A new quantum core would cost more than most planets' yearly GDP. No wonder the other stations had turned it away. But as he studied the damage patterns, an idea began to form. Mike, remember that old Russian submarine we helped restore last year? The one with the nuclear reactor. Mike's eyes lit up. The containment vessel crack. Yeah, we adapted that deep-sea welding technique for. His voice trailed off as he realized where Tom was going with this. You think it could work on a quantum core? Why not? Tom shrugged. Energy's energy, whether it's nuclear or quantum. The principles of containment aren't that different. The diplomat's translator made a strange sound that might have been aghast. You cannot be serious. The quantum core operates on principles your species has only known about for 50 years. The repair techniques are standardized across the galaxy for a reason. Yeah, well, sometimes old tricks work better than new ones, Tom said, already pulling up more detailed scans. Humans have been fixing broken things since we first picked up rocks. We've learned a few things along the way. He turned to his team, who had gathered around the ship with the same look they always got when facing an impossible job, eager, determined, and just a little bit crazy. Johnson, get me the modified underwater welding gear. Peters, I need you to calculate how we can adapt the pressures for quantum containment. Mike, start fabricating those special alloy patches we developed last month. The ones that combine old Earth steel working techniques with alien metals. The diplomat watched in confusion as the humans scattered to their tasks. But the standard protocols. With all due respect, Tom said, pulling on his work gloves, if standard protocols work, you wouldn't be here. Sometimes you need a human touch. Someone crazy enough to try the impossible. As his team began their work, Tom smiled. This was why he loved his job. In a galaxy of automated perfection and standardized solutions, humanity's primitive approach to fixing things had become their greatest strength. Sure, they might not have millennia of spacefaring experience or AI-driven repair systems, but they had something better: creativity, stubbornness, and the accumulated knowledge of countless generations who had faced broken machinery, and said, "I can fix that." The repair bay's warning sirens began to sound as they prepared to attempt the impossible, and Tom felt right at home. Just another day at Station 42, where the impossible was just another job waiting to be finished. 3 days into repairing the diplomatic vessel, Tom wiped sweat from his forehead as he watched his team at work. The repair bay of Station 42 had become even busier than usual. Word had spread that they were attempting to fix an unfixable ship, and alien observers kept showing up to watch. "I don't understand why you insist on doing this manually," said the blue-skinned diplomat, who had barely left the bay since they started. "Every advanced civilization uses robotic repair systems." Tom pointed to where Mike was carefully welding a complex joint by hand. "See how he's adjusting the heat on the fly, how he's responding to the way the metal moves. No robot can do that." The diplomat leaned closer, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "But it's so primitive." "Maybe," Tom agreed, "but sometimes primitive works better." He led the diplomat to a completed section of the hull. "Touch this seam here." The diplomat ran his long fingers along the repaired metal. "It's stronger than the original," he said, surprise clear in his voice. "How is that possible?" "We discovered something interesting," Tom explained. "When you combine old Earth welding techniques with alien metals, you get better results than either method alone. The heat patterns from hand welding create a stronger molecular bond than automated systems." Across the bay, Johnson was teaching a younger mechanic how to use a modified plasma torch. "It's not just about following procedures," Tom continued. "Every repair is different. You need to feel the metal, understand how it wants to move." A loud clang echoed through the station as Peters dropped a tool. Several aliens jumped at the noise, but the humans barely noticed. The repair bay was always noisy, full of life, full of work being done by real hands. "In all my travels," the diplomat said, "I've never seen a repair facility like this. No automated diagnostics, no standardized protocols." "Oh, we have those," Tom interrupted, pulling out his tablet. "We just don't let them make all the decisions. Look here." He showed the diplomat a scan of the quantum core. "Your eye says this crack is unrepairable because it doesn't match any known repair patterns. But to human eyes, it's similar to damage we fixed before in different contexts." The diplomat studied the scan. Different contexts. Submarine hulls, nuclear reactors, old pressure vessels, Tom listed. "Humans have been containing dangerous energies for centuries. The principles don't change just because it's quantum energy instead of nuclear." Around them, the repair bay continued its constant activity. In one corner, a team was crafting custom tools for the quantum core repair. Another group studied old repair manuals alongside modern alien technical documents, looking for useful combinations of techniques. "Your species has only been in space for 100 years, the diplomat noted. "Yet you approach repairs differently than civilizations with thousands of years of experience." Tom nodded. "Maybe that's why it works. We're too new to be stuck in our ways. We take what works from everywhere, old and new, Earth and alien." A cheer went up from the other side of the bay. Mike had successfully tested their new welding technique on a piece of scrap quantum shielding. The metal had fused perfectly, stronger than factory new. "Still think we're too primitive?" Tom asked with a smile. The diplomat watched as the repair team celebrated their success. Perhaps primitive isn't the right word. Adaptive might be better. Creative. "We're human," Tom said simply. "We've been fixing broken things since we lived in caves. It's what we do." As if to emphasize his point, the quantum core monitoring system began beeping. The team immediately moved into action, each person knowing their role without needing AI guidance or automated systems. "Watch carefully," Tom told the diplomat as he pulled on his work gloves. "You're about to see why human repair stations are different. We don't just fix ships, we make them better than new." The diplomat stood back, all 4 eyes wide, as the humans began their work. For the first time, He understood why these primitive repair techniques were becoming famous across the galaxy. He was watching the impossible become possible, one human hand at a time. Tom stepped forward to join his team, ready to prove once again that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their refusal to believe anything was truly beyond repair. The cracked quantum core glowed an eerie purple in the containment field. Tom and his team stood around it, studying the damage that every other repair station in the galaxy had declared unfixable. "The crack is spreading," Mike reported, checking his readings. "We've got maybe 6 hours before it reaches critical." Tom walked around the core, his mind racing through possible solutions. The massive engine part was worth more than everything else on Station 42 combined. One wrong move, and they'd have a quantum explosion big enough to make a small sun. "The automated repair systems keep failing," Peter said, looking up from his tablet. "They try to seal it, but the quantum energy just burns through the patches." Tom stopped walking. He'd seen something like this before, but not in a spaceship. "Hey Mike, remember that old underwater pipeline we fixed last year? The one that kept breaking because of the pressure?" Mike's eyes lit up. "The one where we used the cold welding technique. But Tom, that was just water pressure. This is quantum energy we're talking about." "Energy is energy," Tom said, already moving toward the tool storage area. "The principle is the same. We need to contain something that's trying to escape. The only difference is the scale." The blue-skinned diplomat, who had been quietly watching, stepped forward. "You want to use a water pipe repair technique on a quantum core. That's crazy?" Tom grinned. "Yeah, we get that a lot. Johnson, get me the modified cold welding gear. Peters, start calculating how much we need to cool the quantum field to match the ratios from that pipeline job." The repair bay burst into activity. While other repair stations would have evacuated at the first sign of quantum core instability, Station 42's team moved closer to the danger. Each person knew their job, working with the focused precision that came from years of doing the impossible. "The thing about quantum energy," Tom explained as they worked, "is that everyone treats it like it's special. But at its core, it's just another force that needs containing. We've been containing dangerous forces since we first built steam engines." Mike returned with a strange-looking device, a standard cold welding unit that had been heavily modified with both human and alien technology. "We'll only get one shot at this," he warned. "If it doesn't work." "It'll work," Tom said firmly. He turned to his team. "Peters, how are those calculations coming?" "Done," Peters called out. "But Tom, these numbers are crazy. We'll have to cool the field to temperatures that should be impossible to work in." "Impossible is just another word for hasn't been done yet," Tom replied. He looked at the diplomat. "You might want to step back. This could get interesting." The repair bay's warning sirens began to wail as they initiated their plan. The containment field around the quantum core shifted from purple to deep blue as they dropped the temperature. Ice crystals formed in the air around them. "Core temperature approaching critical low," the ship's AI announced. "Warning. These conditions exceed safety parameters." Tom ignored the warning. He'd learned long ago that the most interesting repairs happened outside of safety parameters. "Now, Mike." Mike activated the modified cold welding unit. A beam of focused energy, colder than space itself, struck the crack in the quantum core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the crack began to seal itself. The quantum energy, instead of fighting against the repair, was being forced to help it by the extreme cold. "It's working," Peter shouted, checking his readings. "The quantum field is stabilizing." The diplomat stared in amazement as the impossible repair completed itself before his eyes. How did you know this would work?" Tom shrugged, his breath visible in the freezing air. "We didn't, but that's the human way. We try things. We experiment. We take what we know from fixing one thing and figure out how to apply it to another." The quantum core's glow steadied, returning to its normal blue color. The crack was gone, replaced by a seam that was stronger than the original material. Quantum core stability at 100%, the ship's AI announced, sounding almost surprised. Repair successful. The team cheered, their voices echoing through the repair bay. They had done it again. Solved an impossible problem with nothing but human ingenuity and the willingness to try crazy ideas. "You know what this means?" Mike asked, grinning at Tom. Tom nodded. "Yeah, we just invented a whole new way to repair quantum cores. And we did it using a technique we learned fixing a water pipe." The diplomat looked at the repaired core, then at the celebrating humans. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "the galaxy has something to learn from your unusual methods." "Maybe," Tom agreed. "But right now, I need a coffee. Inventing impossible repairs is thirsty work." 1 month after fixing the quantum core, Station 42 was busier than ever. Ships from across the galaxy filled the approach lanes, waiting their turn to dock. Tom stood at the control room window, watching as another alien vessel joined the crew. "That's the 15th ship today," Mike said, bringing Tom his morning coffee. "And it's not even lunchtime." The repair bay below them was packed. Alien ships of every size and design filled the working spaces. Human repair crews moved between them, carrying tools and equipment that mixed old Earth technology with alien innovations. "Did you see the latest request?" Mike asked, holding up his tablet. "A trading ship bypassed 3 repair stations in its own sector to come here. They're burning extra fuel just to reach us." Tom took a sip of his coffee. "What's wrong with their ship?" "Their AI navigation system is stuck in a loop. Every other repair station just told them to replace it." Mike grinned. "Want to guess what we're going to do?" "Fix it," Tom said simply. That was always the answer at Station 42. The station's communication system crackled. "Incoming priority message from Galactic Central," the operator announced. "They want to know how we're handling the repair requests." The blue-skinned diplomat who had stayed to observe their work methods stepped forward. "After what you did with our ship, word has spread. Every major space lane now has vessels diverting to Earth for repairs." Tom watched as a new team of human mechanics entered the repair bay. They were part of Station 42's unique training program, a mix of experienced spacers and traditional Earth craftspeople. While other repair stations trained their workers on computers, Station 42 believed in hands-on experience. "Look there," Tom pointed to where an old mechanic was teaching a young woman how to diagnose engine problems by sound. She used to repair motorcycles in Mumbai. Now she's fixing alien spaceships. But the principles are the same. Listen to the machine. Understand what it's telling you. The diplomat watched the training session with interest. Most species would consider it dangerous to let inexperienced workers near advanced technology. "That's how we learn," Tom explained. "Every human mechanic starts somewhere. I learned by fixing old cars with my grandfather. Now I'm fixing quantum cores." Below them, a loud cheer erupted. The team working on the stuck AI had found the problem. A tiny manufacturing flaw that no automated system could detect, but human eyes and hands could feel. "You know what makes us different?" Tom asked, turning to the diplomat. "We don't just fix things to factory settings. We make them better. Every repair teaches us something new." The station's communication system beeped again. More ships requesting permission to dock. More impossible problems looking for human solutions. "We need to expand," Mike said, looking at the crowded repair bay. "Maybe add another level." Tom nodded. "And we need more teachers. Get me a list of every mechanic, engineer, and craftsperson on Earth who's good with their hands. Doesn't matter if they've never seen a spaceship, we can teach them that part." The diplomat made a note on his own device. "The Galactic Council is very interested in your methods. They've never seen repair success rates like this." "That's because they forgot something important," Tom said, watching his team's work. "Machines aren't just circuits in metal. They're the result of someone's work, someone's ideas. To fix them properly, you need to understand that." A new ship was entering the repair bay, its hull scared and twisted. Its automated systems had completely failed, leaving it running on manual backups. Other repair stations had declared it a total loss. Tom smiled. Just another impossible job for Station 42. "You humans," the diplomat said, shaking his head in wonder, "you treat every broken ship like a challenge, not a problem." "That's because they are challenges," Tom replied, finishing his coffee. "And humans love a good challenge. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some impossible repairs to teach." He headed down to the repair bay, ready to show another group of Earth's mechanics how to do the impossible. Behind him, more ships appeared in the approach lanes, drawn to the one place in the galaxy where impossible to fix was never the final answer. The ancient generation ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system like a ghost from the past. It was massive, nearly 3 miles long, its hull covered in designs no one had seen in centuries. As it slowly approached Station 42, even Tom felt a sense of awe. "It's older than human spaceflight," Mike whispered, standing beside Tom at the observation window. "The scans can't even identify half its systems." The ship's surface was a maze of unknown technology. Parts of it glowed with strange lights, while other sections seemed to fade in and out of existence. 3 different alien repair stations had already turned it away, claiming it was too risky to work on such old, unknown systems. "They say it's been traveling for 500 years, the blue-skinned diplomat said, now a permanent advisor at Station 42. "The last of its kind. If it fails, an entire civilization's heritage will be lost." Tom watched as the massive vessel was guided into the largest repair bay. It barely fit, its ancient hull scraping against the safety barriers. "What's wrong with it?" "Everything," a new voice answered. A tall, thin alien stepped forward. "The generation ship's chief engineer. Our main drive is failing. Life support is running on backups. We have no documentation, no spare parts, and no way to make more. We're carrying 10,000 colonists in cryo sleep, and we're running out of time." Tom nodded slowly, already walking toward the ship. Up close, it looked even more impressive. The hull was made of materials he'd never seen before, with patterns that seemed to shift when you looked directly at them. "Peters, start basic scans. Johnson, get the old diagnostic tools. The analog ones. Mike, I want every repair manual we have, from steam engines to quantum drives." Tom turned to the ship's engineer. "We're going to need to know everything you can tell us about how this ship works." "But it's completely unique," the engineer protested. "There's no standard procedure for these systems." Tom smiled. "Good. We work better without standard procedures anyway." The next few hours were like nothing Station 42 had ever seen. The human repair teams treated the ancient vessel like a precious antique car, combining careful examination with creative problem-solving. They used everything from simple hand tools to advanced scanners, building an understanding of the ship piece by piece. "Look at this," Mike called out, pointing to a complex mechanism. "The drive system isn't quantum or nuclear. It's something completely different, but the basic principles. Tom, it's like an old steam engine combined with a fusion reactor." Tom examined the system. The alien technology was incredibly advanced, but underneath all the complexity, he could see familiar patterns. Pressure, heat, energy conversion. The fundamentals never really changed. "The materials are failing at the molecular level," Peters reported, checking his scans. "No modern fabrication system can replicate them." "Then we'll do it the old way," Tom decided. He turned to his team. "Get me the manual forging equipment. We're going to make the parts ourselves, just like they would have done when this ship was built." The repair bay transformed into something between a high-tech workshop and an old-fashioned forge. Human engineers worked side by side, some using advanced alien tools while others shaped metal by hand. "This is insane," the generation ship's engineer said, watching as humans literally forged new components for his ancient vessel. "No other repair station would even attempt this." That's why they sent you to us, Tom replied, checking the temperature of a newly forged part. Sometimes the old ways work best. Hours turned into days as Station 42's teams worked around the clock. They combined centuries-old crafting techniques with modern technology, finding ways to repair systems that hadn't been manufactured in hundreds of years. I don't understand, the diplomat said, watching the humans work. How can you repair technology you've never seen before? Tom wiped sweat from his forehead, looking at the progress they'd made. Because we're not just fixing machines, we're understanding them. Every machine, no matter how advanced, was built by someone who needed it to work. Once you understand that, anything can be fixed. The generation ship's engineer touched one of the newly forged parts, his eyes wide with amazement. It's perfect. Better than the original. How is this possible? Simple, Tom said, though his tired smile showed it had been anything but simple. We're human. The impossible just takes us a little longer. Above them, the ancient ship systems began to hum with new life, ready to carry its precious cargo of colonists to their destination. Another impossible repair, another victory for human ingenuity at Station 42. Word about the generation ship repair spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Station 42's observation deck was packed with alien visitors, all wanting to understand how humans had accomplished the impossible. Tom stood before them, trying to explain what made human engineers different. Your species lives such short lives, a crystalline alien said, its voice translated through a computer. Most of us live for centuries. We have time to perfect our methods. Maybe that's exactly why we're good at repairs, Tom replied, gesturing to the busy repair bay below. Because we don't have centuries, we have to think faster, adapt quicker. The repair bay was a perfect example of human adaptation. In one corner, a team was using techniques learned from fixing ancient Roman aqueducts to repair an alien cooling system. In another, mechanics combined old railroad maintenance methods with advanced alien tools. Watch this, Tom said, pointing to where Mike was training new mechanics. See how he's teaching them to identify problems by sound, smell, and touch. Most species rely only on computers for diagnostics. We use everything we have. The blue-skinned diplomat, who had become a student of human repair methods, stepped forward. I've been studying your species' engineering history. It's fascinating. In just 300 years, you went from steam engines to quantum drives. We had to, Tom explained. Each generation of humans learned from the last, but also had to solve new problems. We couldn't wait centuries for perfect solutions. Below them, a young mechanic was explaining to an alien crew how she'd fixed their ship's navigation system, using principles she'd learned repairing old Earth satellites. The aliens looked confused but impressed. You're primitive. Excuse me, your earlier technologies, another alien visitor began. Why do you still study them? Tom smiled. Because every machine teaches us something. An old diesel engine can help you understand a fusion drive. A mechanical watch can help you fix a quantum timer. It's all about understanding the basic principles. The repair bay's main screen lit up with a new repair request. A ship with a completely frozen AI system was approaching. Other repair stations had given up, saying the AI was too complex to fix manually. Perfect timing, Tom said. Let me show you how human problem-solving works. Mike, get the old computer repair kit, the one with physical switches and circuits. The alien observers watched in amazement as the human team began breaking down the complex AI problem into simple mechanical steps. They used both ancient diagnostic techniques and modern tools, finding ways to bypass the frozen systems. You see, Tom explained as they worked, most species focus on making their technology more advanced. We humans focus on understanding how things work at every level. That's why we can fix anything. We know both the newest and oldest ways to solve problems. The frozen AI system slowly came back online, restored by a combination of physical repairs and digital solutions that no automated system would have tried. But isn't it inefficient? One of the alien observers asked. Surely focusing only on the most advanced solutions would be better. Efficient isn't always effective, Tom replied. Sometimes you need to try things that don't make sense on paper. That's how we discover new solutions. The diplomat nodded in agreement. Since Station 42 began sharing its repair techniques, success rates across the galaxy have improved by 30%. It turns out humans' inefficient methods often work better than our standard procedures. Tom watched as his teams continued their work, each repair combining centuries of human knowledge with the latest alien technology. We may be younger than most spacefaring species, he said, but that means we remember what it's like to solve problems with limited tools. Sometimes having less makes you think more. A cheer went up from the repair bay as the AI ship's systems fully restored. Another impossible repair made possible by human ingenuity. You know what makes humans special? Tom asked the observers. We never stop being curious. Every broken machine is a puzzle to solve. Every repair is a chance to learn something new. The aliens watched the celebrating human repair crews, finally understanding why ships from across the galaxy were flocking to this primitive repair station. Sometimes the best way to fix the future was to remember the lessons of the past. 6 months after the generation ship repair, Station 42 had grown to 3 times its original size. New repair bays stretched out in every direction, filled with ships from across the galaxy. But Tom's favorite spot was still the old observation deck, where he could watch both the sunrise over Earth and the constant flow of vessels seeking human help. The Galactic Council's report just came in, Mike said, joining him at the window. They've officially designated Station 42 as the galaxy's premier repair facility. Tom nodded, watching a massive alien cruiser dock below. Its hull bore the scars of what looked like an antimatter accident. Another impossible repair job that would soon become just another story of human ingenuity. Did you see the latest applications? Mike asked, showing Tom his tablet. We've got engineers from 50 different alien species requesting to learn our repair methods. Even the advanced civilizations want to study here. The repair bay below was a perfect picture of the change humans had brought to galactic engineering. Alien apprentices worked alongside human mechanics, learning to trust their hands and senses as much as their computers. Old Earth tools sat next to advanced alien technology, each used when it would work best. Training Bay 3 is ready, the station's AI announced. The new class can begin. Tom smiled, remembering how far they'd come. That bay had once been a small storage room. Now it was where they taught the galaxy how to think like human engineers. The blue-skinned diplomat, now the official Galactic Council representative to Station 42, approached them. The Council has a request, he said. They want to establish human repair stations in every major sector of the galaxy. They're finally admitting that humans know what we're doing. Mike grinned. More than that, the diplomat replied. They're acknowledging that the human approach to problem-solving is unique and valuable. Your methods have revolutionized how the galaxy thinks about repairs. Below them, a young human mechanic was teaching an alien crew how to identify engine problems by touch. In another bay, alien engineers watched in amazement as humans demonstrated old Earth welding techniques that worked better than their advanced automated systems. Tom, Peters called from across the deck. You're going to want to see this. On the main screen, a new ship was approaching. Its design was unlike anything they'd ever seen. All curves and strange angles that seemed to bend space itself. What is it? Tom asked. A ship from the outer rim, Peters explained. They say it's powered by something that isn't matter or energy. 3 advanced repair stations already declared it impossible to even diagnose, let alone fix. Tom watched the mysterious vessel approach, already thinking about how to tackle this new challenge. Well, he said, impossible just means no one's figured it out yet. The diplomat shook his head in wonder. You humans never cease to amaze me. Most species would run from such a challenge. That's because they forget something important, Tom said, heading toward the repair bay. Every piece of technology, no matter how advanced, was built by someone who needed it to work. Once you understand that, Nothing is truly impossible to fix. The strange ship docked, its hull shimming with unknown energies. Tom's team was already gathering, mixing old tools and new ideas, ready to solve another impossible problem. "You know what makes Station 42 special?" Tom asked as they prepared to board the vessel. "It's not just that we fix ships. It's that we remember every repair, learn from every problem, and share what we learn with others." The diplomat nodded. "You've taught the galaxy that sometimes the best way forward is to remember the lessons of the past." "Exactly," Tom agreed. "Now let's see what new lessons this ship has to teach us." As Tom led his team toward their newest challenge, he couldn't help but smile. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not just the ability to fix the impossible, but the willingness to try, the creativity to innovate, and the wisdom to know that every broken machine was an opportunity to learn something new. Behind him, more ships appeared in the approach lanes, drawn to the place where impossible repairs were just another day's work. Station 42 had become more than just a repair station. It was a symbol of humanity's unique place in the galaxy, where the combination of old wisdom and new ideas could solve any problem. Tom adjusted his tool belt, ready to face whatever strange technology awaited them. "Well," he said to his team, "let's figure something out. We always do."